Okay, I'm going to make a new website on Weebly. So this is my page after I've made an account on Weebly, and I'm going to go here, scroll up, and click Add Site. It's going to ask me a couple of questions here. We're not going to be creating an online store, so you just click I need a website. And then it's going to take you right away to the themes. And you will get to select a theme. For this assignment, it's best to select something fairly simple. I think this is a pretty good theme, but you can choose your own. You're going to have fairly specific requirements, so you're going to want to choose a theme where you'll be able to meet the requirements of the website. So this works for now. I've got these three links down here. I've got a picture here. So we're going to select this one for now. All right, now it's asking us to select our domain name. The domain name is the website address. It's what goes up here. Because this is a free account, your domain name is going to have to be such and such .weebly.com. If you want the name of your restaurant, like let's say, zsplace.com, I would have to purchase that domain name. So this is going to be barbecue. Let's call this barbecueandz.weebly.com. Let's see if that is available. It says it's unavailable. Barbecues, Weebly. Here we go. This is available, barbecuez.weebly.com. This is called a subdomain. It's part of weebly.com. It's not its own website. So I'm going to select that, and I'm done. So now that is the name of my website, barbecuez.weebly.com. And the theme we selected is now on here. We've got all this example stuff. And so now we're going to need to delete all of these sections. So you don't have to go through and delete individual elements one at a time like this. That would take forever. You don't have to do that. You can delete sections. This is an entire section. I've clicked up here, so that selected this entire area, and I'm going to delete that section. Okay, I'm going to delete the next section. We want our website homepage to be very, very simple. With website design, less is more. All I want on my restaurant is the main picture and thing up here, and then 3 dummy links down here, and I'll get into what dummy links are later. So I'm going to delete the section below. Okay, right now this is all we want. Now, another thing I need to do is go through the pages of my website and delete all but the home page. So right now there's a home page, and then there's a services page. This is still just all examples from the theme, about, etc. So I want to delete these pages. And the way I do that is you click on the page and you click delete. So we're just going to delete everything except the home page. For this first project, we want things to be very simple and very clean. All right, just the home page now. That's it. Now for my home page, all I want is one big image with a very small amount of text. So right now we've got all this example text and divider, spacers, some things here. So what we're going to have to do is delete each one of these. We don't want to delete the entire section because I want to use this section. So I'm going to have to go through each little building element and delete it. It's not a huge deal. You just put your mouse over and click the red X. And any text or images we can add later. So I think right now we've got an empty section here. So what I want to do is start adding some images. So I'm going to go up here to build, and now we can put any of these things into our site. I'm going to start with an image there. So there's a couple different ways you can do an image. We can just drag the image in, and that will allow us to upload something if we click on it. However, if we do that, that's going to put an image in the middle of your site, which is fine. But what I want is an image that takes up this entire background, and I would like to put text on top of that image. If I want to do that, I have to select at the edge of this section here, outside it, and click Edit Background. Now I'm going to replace the background with something. I'm going to upload a photo from my computer. First I need to download one, actually. And this is one I've selected for the large image on my home page. So I'm going to click Download. I'm not a robot most of the time. And okay, it's downloaded. Now I can upload that photo. It's usually in your downloads folder when you download something from Pixabay. Okay. All right, now we have this delicious image in the background. This will be the first thing that people see when they come to the website. I'm satisfied with it, so I'm going to click Save. And now I need a site title. I'm not going to leave it as my site. So I'm going to make my website name Barbecue Z. So let's make that a capital Z just for fun. Oh, whoops, and of course, capital B at the beginning. Okay, now we have our website, title and picture. All right, now we need to start to think about font, color, and image. I already put this image here. Let me show you what I'm trying to communicate. This is section 2 of your formative. This is where you type the 4 key things to communicate. I have a barbecue restaurant, for example, but the one you're going to do is one of these 3 up here. These are going to be your things to communicate, depending on which restaurant you choose. So I just did 3 for this example. You, of course, need to do 4. Okay, so I want to communicate barbecue, of course, and I need a close-up of ribs on a grill, and that's why I have this picture here. But then for colors on my site, will mostly be red and orange, and then mostly black. So how am I going to do that? Well, my site title right now is black. I'd like to change that. To change my site title, I need to go to Theme, and then change Fonts. And then I select Site Title. I can make it a little bigger if I want. And this is where I can change the color. I'd kind of like it to be red. I think I'd like it to be a little brighter than that, though. So let's see if I can get it to match this brush here so we're fairly consistent. All right, that's pretty close. That's a real bright red. So now we have some consistency. This brush and the title are the same color, or at least very close. Oops. So now we've got some red, which gives us consistency across the website. I also would like to change the font. This is a sans serif font. Sans serif fonts communicate modernity, cleanliness, they're easy to read. For barbecue, I would like something a little bit more traditional. Barbecue is an old art form, and I would like to communicate that sort of age and that tradition. So I need to change my font to a serif font, since serif fonts communicate tradition. So I'm going to try 1 or 2 of these. That one's okay, but it looks a little cute. That one could work, but it looks a little New York Times. So I'm going to go through this list one at a time here and just sort of see if I can settle on a font that I like. All right, for the font, I've selected Merriweather. I think it's serif enough to communicate tradition and age, but also clean enough to be easily read. Okay, let's take a look at some of the requirements here. What else do I need? Okay, I would like to get a 7 or 8 on this, so I'm going to go through these requirements. Do I have a large image that communicates at least one of my key things? Yes, I do. Barbecue. Do I have a name for my restaurant? I do. It's Barbecue Z, and it's clearly shown here. I didn't leave it as my site. A short description of your restaurant that communicates at least 2 of your key things. All right, so I need some text and a short description. Let me go to Build here, and I'm going to drag some text onto this. You can drag a title, you can drag text. Title is just bigger. I'm going to go with some smaller text here. And let's have our explanation. Let's see, traditional. I think I'm going to do this in all caps. Traditional outdoor in the heart of Minnesota. Okay, that'll work. This description works well. However, the problem, obviously, is that you can't read it. You can't read it for two reasons. One, the color doesn't work on the background. And number two, this is the biggest mistake you guys will make when you make this website, is you will end up putting letters, text, on top of a background that is busy. A busy background means there's a lot of colors, there's stuff going on, and it makes it very hard to read. So I'm going to make this just a bit bigger. That'll help. And I'm going to change the color to something a little brighter here. Actually, I think I want it to be almost white. Yeah. Or very, very light gray. Okay. Now, obviously that helps a little bit, but we still have trouble reading it. So I need to move this up. I want to put it in this space here where there's not much going on. How do I do that? I can't really drag it. If you drag it, it doesn't really work. So what I have to do is put spacers in. Spacers are your best friend. You can use them to push all kinds of things around your website. So I'm going to bring in a spacer, and the blue shows you where it's going to go. I don't want it above the words. I want it below because I want to push them up. So I've managed to push that up a little bit. I can add another spacer to push it up more, but it's easier to just expand this spacer this way until you get it where you want. Whoops. Come on. There we go. I'm going to push that all the way up. There. Now I have this at the top. The background is not busy. I can actually make this a little bit better. There's a color change over here. So I'm going to put another spacer on the left. There. And now I've pushed it over. But I pushed it over too much. So I'm going to make that spacer a little smaller and put it right there. So now, as you can see, I'm running into problems there. So there's a couple of things I can do. I can either make my text smaller, move it over more. I'm going to put that down there, and let's see if this works. Yeah. Whoops. Come on. Okay. Now I'm able to read this description. I've pushed it around with spacers. And most importantly, this description is not on top of a busy background. It is legible. That is the main thing. Let's see what my other requirements are. I have my short description, so now I need 3 dummy links to additional pages. So in a restaurant's website, you're generally going to have another page that's the menu, maybe a page telling you about the restaurant, and a contact us where you can email them or call them or whatever. For this project, you just make dummy links, which means you make pictures and things that look like links. You don't actually have to create the additional pages. So I've done a little bit of it down here. I'm going to delete all of this, all this example text, some of the images that were down there, so I get to start over. Okay, just deleting everything, which is fine. Delete the spacers. Okay. So now I'm going to drag some elements down there. I'm going to start with an image, and I'm going to do one of the images I downloaded. I downloaded 3 of these for use here. All right, so there's one of them. Obviously, this is way too big. I mean, I can make it a little smaller here, but that's actually going to happen automatically when I add another image to it. So I'm going to put another image, and see this blue line here. If I put it there, it'll be to the left of this image. If I put it here, it'll be to the right. All right, so I'm going to upload the other image. All right, I've got those two, and I'm going to do one more over here. Okay, so now I have 3 images here. I'm going to add some title text above each one. Now, watch this blue line there. If I let this go now, the title text is just going to be above this picture. That's what I want. But you need to be careful, because if you put it there, now look at the blue line, it's all the way across. It's going to be above all 3. We only want it like this. Oops. So I'm going to have our menu, and I think I'll have it centered. And then I think I'm going to switch these 2 pictures here. Okay, bring title text down and try to get it. Can I get it only above this image? Okay, well, let me try this. Put it there. Now, what if I just drag it up? No. Can bring that right underneath. There we go. Sometimes you have to mess around with stuff like that in Weebly. All right, and title, and I only want it over here, and contact us, and I want it centered. Okay, great. So I've got that requirement. I have 3 dummy links: our menu, our story, and contact us. So I have that, but there's a problem with it. This is what's going to keep me from getting a 7 or 8. Your homepage has a clean and professional look. The problem is these images are not all exactly the same size. This one is much smaller, and if we look very closely, this one is just a little bit longer than that one. So you need your website to look clean and professional. If your pictures don't line up, it looks unprofessional, it looks sloppy. So how do we get them to all be the same size? So how do you get these images exactly the same size so that it looks nice and professional? Well, the easiest way to do it is actually just within Weebly itself, and it's not this thing. It's not like messing with resize image like that. The best way to do it is to edit the image itself from within Weebly. So when you click on an image, you can go up to Edit Image, and you can do a number of things to it. We're going to go to Crop. And you can adjust the size this way. And notice the dimensions here change. Right now this is 1100 by 733. I can bring it down to that if I want. So what we need to do is actually select the smallest image. And we're going to go with this one because it's a little bit shorter than the others. The reason is when you crop an image, you can't make it larger, you just make it smaller. So we're going to take the smallest one here, go to crop. This one is 1100 by 619. We're going to remember those numbers, 619. So we're going to go to this, and we're going to change the dimensions here, 1100 by, whoops, move that down a little bit there. We want it to be 619, still 1100 though. 619, we're going to get it up to, all right, well, as close as we can then, 1 off, I suppose. All right, click Save. And now notice that these 2 line up. Edit the image, same thing here, 1100 by 619. Or again, at least as close as we can get. And save. Now all of the images should be exactly the same, and now we have a professional looking restaurant homepage. Oh, whoops, I wanted those to be in the center. Okay, one more thing I want to do to give this a nice, clean, consistent look is to change the fonts on these. Remember, we want our colors to be red and orange. So I'm going to go into Change Fonts, and I don't remember exactly what kind of fonts these are. It's not site title, navigation menu. So the way we do this is to go down the line here until they show up there. They're paragraph titles. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to change the font to Merriweather, same as the site title. And I'm going to change the color to red. Yeah. Now we have a more consistent look. Okay, now for the very last section here, we need to paste the link to the site. So I'm going to show you how to get a link. The way we get a link is to go up to this corner here and push publish. That's actually all you do. Now this is the link to the website. If I click on that link, I'm taken to my website. This is what it looks like. If anyone goes to this website, they will see your work. So what I'm going to do is copy that URL and I'm going to paste it into my assessment. So here I can just get rid of all of this and I can paste. That's it. That's all I need to do for this. Now we can go to this site and see your work, and that's what I will grade you on. Good luck.